We're eating Greek salad today. So James likes it with the roasted black beans with
It's
it.
awesome. It's like a
And
mixture of
some red onion. He doesn't like
Greek
red onion
and
that much. So I didn't
Mexican,
think
or yep.
cilantro, red bell pepper, feta cheese, cucumber, black olives, tomato.
But at least 9 different things in it. So
Yep.
it's
And then
very healthy.
I'm gonna try to eat some feta and see how that goes. I've been eating apple with cinnamon to try to control feeling sick from the cholesterol, my high cholesterol.
I figure it's the fiber in the apple that maybe is helping out. Maybe other things as well.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
The cinnamon also.
There we go.
But like the apple alone isn't as, I found it isn't as strong as the pear, because the pear has more fiber.
More fibers, so that would
And-
indicate maybe it's the fiber. Well, like you say, the cinnamon as well. So
Yeah, but the apple with the cinnamon, I get good effects. But I
Good.
have to eat several apples a day.
there, so it's not just an apple a day; it's more than an apple a day for Paul. Keeps the doctor at bay.
There's 2 right there, and they don't have the peel because they weren't organic. So
Yeah, you got to watch that.
Anyway, it's very frustrating for us listening to the CBC radio.
It would probably be any radio, but what's really frustrating is we're funding it. So
It's a public radio station. And it really only serves a small segment of the population.
yep. Academics and yellows, their ilk. They think they're
Yeah, that's
serving
good.
people of color, but they're just using them as their foot soldiers and maintaining themselves as the Brahmins of of Canada, and they want to extend it to the whole world. So
So-
they're a form of enlightenment.
Anyway, so we were listening to the CBC this morning, as we often do in the morning when we go out.
Yeah.
And
Trying to get the weather and stuff like that, and trying to find out information about COVID. So go on, because
so
we're not
first
sticking
we
to
got a
general-
report from a woman in the UK. She was a doctor, and she said that the Delta variant is so contagious and stuff. It's just that even if you're thinking that vaccines will protect you, she's saying it won't. There's not, it's just, it'll go out of control. What you have to do to control it is basically not let it in.
Yeah.
Don't-
And then a hard lockdown.
Hard
if it gets
lockdown,
in,
she said.
and really fast, like preemptive.
Yeah.
Do it fast. Don't let it, go wild on you.
Yeah.
Go wild on it before it goes wild on you.
And so it's we've been seeing this, that even if the CBC, if they'll give one side of an issue, they end with whoever they want to leave the audience influenced by.
Yeah.
So they had a Canadian doctor,
They rarely, of course, balance
and
off
I
the
don't
issue.
know if I'm getting his name right. I just caught it at the end briefly, and I think it was Shuman Chakrabarti.
Okay, Chakrabarti is probably what it's going to be like.
See, I did apologize first
Yeah, I know.
because I knew I was
I-
going to get it wrong.
I don't know what his first name is, but he comes from the Peel region, so be taking notes and send in your complaints. There should be vast complaints against the CBC, generally and specifically against Matt Galloway. So I'll have some things to say about Matt Galloway if Pauline's willing to let me talk about the...
You can go ahead
Okay,
and talk
now,
all you want.
Let's have a conversation now, Matt.
Yeah.
Okay?
Conversation.
And it's going to be a conversation like what you mean, a condemnation. You stupid, stupid skunk. You stupid idiot. I heard you interviewing a woman who's black and a Jew, head of the Green Party, So she's an environmentalist, and you were interrupting her on almost every sentence. You shameless, shameful puke. Interrupting her. Because I don't know what it is you don't like about her. Is it because she's a Jew and stands up to a certain extent, against anti-Semitism? You shameful, shameless puke.
Okay.
So, interrupting. But what were you doing today? Pauline, do you want to talk about what was happening?
No, you go ahead and talk, because I got to put these guys in. Come on.
So, yeah, they must have thought Matt Galloway was in the neighborhood. They're trying to rid the neighborhood of it. Okay, Matt, you have someone who's kind of talking as though they believe in the precautionary principle. They come from England. They're having some trouble with the Delta variant, or whatever it's called there. It looks as though they might have maybe their third wave or a fourth wave or whatever. It looks as though it's serious. And this woman was taking it seriously. And I've got to say, you were letting her talk the way you usually do.
Yeah, which is, can you go?
With people that you
yeah,
approve
that is
of.
True. She was
And uncharacteristically for you pukes at the CBC, you actually balance things off. But what were you thinking, you skunk? You had this idiot from Peel Region. Peel Region has been hit selectively hard. I think it's basically in the Toronto area, roughly the Toronto area. It's been hit hard multiple times, thanks to the infelicities and whatever of Doug Ford's policies. And he's all over the map, but it's usually like, oh, hey, we're going to open up and stuff like that. And then oh, there's another wave. Oh, we're going to have to lock down. And then we're going to be open up, yeah. Anyway, so this person, you gave them pride of place. You gave them the last word.
Yeah.
You gave them the last word. And you didn't interrupt them, as I recall, once. And this guy, this stupid Chakrabarti or whatever it was, he was saying, oh, you know, like it's you know, we should be looking at opening up. You know, like there's going to be some people
when we
who
shut
are going
to... we shouldn't, or when we open up, we shouldn't
shut down
again.
ever again.
Yeah. And he's like, we dealt with Alpha, so we'll deal with this
Delta.
one.
No. You know, like, that's like saying, you know, like, we dealt with Bismarck, therefore Hitler's not going to be so bad. You know, like, you got to be prepared for things to be different. Delta is different. It's hugely
and what's
infectious.
Happening is apparently it attacks more children.
So do you want that? You folks out there that don't care about old folks, but you're going to care about your kids. Yeah.
3 times the rate of everyone else. They get it.
If you're listening down in Ontario, get this guy from the Peel Region. If you're from Peel Region, get this guy out of there. He is absolutely awful. Mm-hmm. Okay, you people, and it's all you taxpayers out there that are supporting Matt Galloway, get rid of that skunk. Matt, let's have this conversation. Matt, resign now. You should be dying of shame, you useless puke. But resign of shame, you useless scum. You should have been, I don't believe in interrupting people when you're interviewing. And you do it, you're such a slime. When it's a person you don't like, particularly it's a message they don't like. You know, like with this poor Jew. I hope it is that you didn't like the message. Because, is it because you don't like Jews? I don't think you're Irish. Your name would indicate you're Scottish.
What
Galloway.
I actually wanted to talk about was the Delta.
Yeah.
So, what it looks like to me is this, I can't understand how a doctor in a region that has dealt with high infection levels, whatever.
Yeah. They've had to be selectively shut down.
His name, it sounds to me like he might be from India, where they were having a lot of problems.
Some of his ancestors. Mm-hmm. He's on his dad's side.
So, can't understand it. And what it seems to me is that maybe certain people, and this, it seems like a lot of the yellow population of Canada too, politicians included. And it seems like the WHO, for sure, letting this thing go crazy in the first place.
Wow.
I mean, if you look at the world, when I was a teenager, I thought, yeah, United Nations, that's such a great idea. You know, one party for the whole world, one government for the whole world. That's the way it needs to be, right? And then you grow up, you read more, and you learn about the rest of the world. And you're not going to get that from the yellows. You're going to have to look that up yourself. So you end up learning, and by yellows I'm talking Myers-Briggs. Anyway.
Yeah, don't run with that one, you straw men makers. Don't run with that one. Go on.
So if you look at the rest of the world and you want to have a democratic world where every single person in the world has an equal say,
where women are treated fairly, yeah,
then the current population of the world, the current human population, will be undemocratic. That's how it will be. You will not have women getting the vote. It will be democracy one time, and
they'll
it will
vote
be
to get
voted
rid of
out.
democracy. Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
the people who had the French Revolution in 1789 understood that if they had democracy right away, gave it to the people in the countryside, the people in the countryside would vote the king back into power right away.
So, you have, right now, we're working towards post-fossil fuels world, because frankly we won't have them. So
well, we'll have
coal for a while.
We'll have coal for who knows how long,
and the world will get even more polluted. But so there's going to be a lot of things that will change dramatically, and one of the things that academia has noticed and is concerned about is water. The new world wars will be fought over water. Not all.
Possibly. Mm-hmm.
It'll be water.
Access to water.
Now, and that's fresh water. It's not salt water, because that takes a lot of work to make it drinkable for us.
Yeah, so the Saudis have been using oil to freshen up their seawater. Oh, they're going to run out of oil. Mm-hmm. Okay. What are they going to do?
So
now,
there's a lot
of the wars are going to be like invasions, like people going, we don't have any water. Well, you've been breeding like crazy, irresponsibly. Whose fault is that?
Yeah.
Oh, it's global warming. Global warming is caused 70%. This is the United Nations, by overpopulation.
So here we are parked in Canada, James and I, and Canada has amazing freshwater resources. Now, a lot of them have been polluted by stupid idiot capitalists who are very selfish, and then the public has to pay to clean up the freshwater sources. But in any case, the Canadian public has a lot of fresh water at hand. So you have a global pandemic with a bunch of people running around all over the world. They've been breeding too much, and now, we're going to have some water issues. All right, where are they going to shoot for? There's only a few places in the world that have the water resources, the freshwater resources.
Russia, Canada, and Brazil. Maybe the Congo.
So, when I hear a bunch of people that are all pro-immigration into Canada and really lax about who is let into Canada, who's going to be immigrating, I'm looking into it, right? And when there's somebody on the radio who's, obviously we were hearing about the Delta variant in India, we were hearing, months ago, really about how bad it was in India. But just today, we're told about various things, like how exponential growth of it, and how it affects kids at a much higher rate, and this and that. So we're just hearing that today. Why are we just hearing that today? And then why is it backed up by this Canadian doctor who says, oh, don't worry about it, we'll deal with it. And, when we have good vaccine coverage, and when we don't,
Where you
only
going? We have
13% of Canadians have both of their vaccines. And the vaccine is not 100%. He's touting it as miraculous.
Miraculous, yeah.
It's a miracle cure. And it's not.
95% effective, I think, with Pfizer and Moderna.
And that's the original.
That's with the original variant.
We don't know how effective it is against Delta.
And whatever else comes down the
And whatever
pike.
comes next.
And it will, because Trudeau said, hey, people, our borders are open. Come on in, bring your variants in. Come on, Canadians, go visit. Other places, bring their variants back in, spread our variants down there.
The only thing that I can see, like, the rationale for this is to kill off a lot of existing Canadians to make room for imported ones. So, because there's a lot of people in the world. And
way too many.
Yeah.
In Canada, we got too many people. I don't care what color, what race, ethnicity, political persuasion. We got way too many people. We can't support what we've got now. People are going around saying, we're Canada, we've got lots of room. Do you study geography when you say stuff like that?
It's nuts.
So Chakra Bhatti, or whatever your name is, you resign now.
Yeah,
you are a shameful person. Matt Galloway, you did not do your job interviewing this guy. You shouldn't have had him on in the first place.
There's a lot
Get someone who's more responsible.
Political, medical experts out there. We're hearing way too much from them, and not enough from the actual experts.
Yeah, I don't know if this guy was a bureaucrat like Theresa Tam.
He was talking about how, what was it? I can't remember. You know what? Look up the radio thing for yourself. I can't remember all of them. But it was absolutely ridiculous. Like they were talking about how you have to keep an eye on this Delta variant. And it's like, what? It's
you keep your foot on it, on its neck.
You keep an eye on it before it's in. Now that it's in, you gotta shut her down. And it's gonna cost a lot, because frankly, all of the money almost that has been spent by the Trudeau government has been a waste, an absolute waste. You have to keep the borders shut from this. No butts across borders in order to keep this under control.
No butts cross borders. I like that alliteration.
Yeah.
No butts cross borders.
And that helps out. You can say, oh, well, we'll send a whole bunch of vaccines that we're borrowing money to buy. We're not producing them. So we're going to borrow more money from China.
From China,
to prop up their economy,
See how they
bring
set
ours
this up?
down further.
Yeah.
And
they set this up
to try to control poorer countries, people from dying off. I mean, what is that? So, you know what? How we actually control poorer countries, people from dying off? We stopped going there. That's what we stopped doing, and we keep our borders shut right now until this is under control. It saves them
totally
as well as us.
It saves everyone when everyone closes their borders to everyone else. And I want to talk about China. People are going around saying, I think this is a UN idiot. And that's a redundancy when you say UN idiot, because it just comes with the territory. So this guy was saying, We're only getting 10% coverage for the world. Oh, okay, let's do the math. The G7 countries are providing 2 billion shots. That would mean if it's only 10%, like 2 billion, 10%, you got to multiply that by 10. 2 billion times 10 is 20 million. Are there 20 million? You got to my cough control center, you idiot. You donkey hole. You know, you're saying they're only providing 10%. Are you telling me and everyone else hearing that there's 20 billion people in the world? Now, thanks to you and the flunkies, you're encouraging people, enabling them, encouraging them to. We'll get to that point, unless we have a Malthusian kind of population crash or something like that. Already the UN, within the last year, they're going, oh, you know, like we were saying the world's population was going to top off at 9.5 billion. Which is, you know, like less than 2 billion more than what we got now. And then all of a sudden they said, oh, we're off by a little bit. It's going to top off at 11.5 billion. Who says it's going to top off anywhere, you stupid flunkies? At any rate, you know, every vaccine that given to the third world should, if not, come from the People's Republic of China, because they don't apparently have a very good vaccine. It should be funded 100% by the People's Republic of China. They're the ones who are responsible for letting this go crazy in their own country. And the WHO too. And the WHO. Yeah.
But honestly, the WHO, they were like, they need to be held accountable. And
they should be subject to criminal and civil suits.
Right now,
driven out of business.
They've killed so many people, and it's
millions.
Like
the WHO.
It's
millions.
like you hear about in history. Apparently, there'd be fire brigades or whatever, and they basically acted like the mafia, and they'd say, well, you know, pony up or your house is going to burn.
That's in ancient Rome.
And that's
Crassus, who had a fire department, maybe the fire department. That's what they do. I don't know if they actually set fires. I can see it. Crassus is an awful person.
I think I remember reading that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, honestly, this was how the WHO was acting. It's like, yeah, we're going to create our own emergency so we can put it out.
Well, they didn't. No, they let it go wild. Hog wild.
It's a job creation project.
So we haven't been able to talk about this. What should happen? Every country in the world, except People's Republic of China, should hold China 100% responsible for all the economic fallout. China's not willing to pay it. Lots of people owe money to China. No more. Reparations. Reparations. And more than that, that's economic reparations. I want every person to be able to sue the People's Republic of China's government for unlawful death. Everyone, it should be like $1 million, or at least 100,000. What's a person's life worth?
Yeah.
But if it's $1 million, how many people have died already? Okay, 1 million times 1 million is a lot of money. A lot of money, and that would be on top of the money for the economic fallout. So I want that now. And someone was saying to me, I mentioned it to him, he thought he was being a smart donkey, we'll say. And he was being a donkey. I'm not so sure about the smart. But he was saying, oh, you can't do it with China. Our economy depends on it so much. They're so powerful. Get used to it. They're just starting off on this trajectory of stomping on the rest of the world. Not just the United States and whatever. They're just starting. Taiwan, whatever. Someone was saying, I think it was Fareed Zakaria, was saying, this back in 2007, you know, China has limited ambitions. They're not like the United States.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, that's absolutely stunning. You look at the last ruler of China, the Empress of China, and you know, like there was an embassy from the British government, and from Queen Victoria was the way they're presenting it, and the Empress was saying, oh, that's my vassal way over there. Yeah. You know, the Chinese, the People's Republic of China, have inherited it from the Chinese culture. I'm not talking about any individuals escaping from the People's Republic of China. There are exceptions. They have this idea. They're the Middle Kingdom, they're the center of it all. How long have they, people are going around, oh, they were colonized. No, they weren't. You know, wake up and smell the coffee. Where they were semi-imperialized and stuff like that. They just had a period of weakness for a little over 100 years. The long run of Chinese history, and it goes back over 2,000 years, is they spread. When you look at where the Han people came from originally, it's a small part of what China, what we think of as China now. A small part. And, you know, like China going after Tibet in 1950 and stuff like that, that's just part of their, you know, general long march to on freedom for everyone else. And, you know, they have claims on former Soviet Central Asia. Well, I don't know what the Turkic people like that think about that sort of stuff. In other words, maybe around the Tang Dynasty, they were messing around in there. How long ago was that? Well, that's over 1,000 years ago. And unlike the Brits, yeah, I'd be ashamed of a Brit who'd be going around saying, you know, we were in India, and I long for the day when we can go back there. We should be working at doing that. The Chinese had better give up on their imperial pretensions
you want
too.
apple too. I'll give you some if you want.
Yeah, the Turkic people in former Soviet Central Asia, they better be worried. I'm sure they are. They're looking at the Uyghurs across the border, their fellow Turkic-speaking people, and they're going, wow, the Chinese are setting up residence schools, setting them up, kidnapping kids from their parents. Apparently, forcing the Uyghur people adults to work. What do you call that? Oh, what is it? Oh, it's slave labor. This is the 21st century. It's amazing.
But do you want to talk more about the post-American world?
It's Fareed Zakaria is saying it's coming. It's here now. Yeah? We've got the United States for 4 years under the Trump administration being dominated by Russia. And now China's making a big move to really shift things over. You know, wow. People's Republic of China. Get that straight. It's absolutely sickening. And you got all these faux gauches yelling, oh, you know, don't close the borders down, you know, let everyone in who wants to come in. You know, wow.
Yeah.
Don't close the borders to COVID. Yeah.
You
This
keep
was the squawk
trumpeting
over.
for the communists, you know, you yellows, and your heads are the first on the chopping board once they come.
Only read some history. I know it's tough for you to read anything that isn't like some sort of yellow novel. Wow, you know, imagine this. This is one of your favorite little locutions. Imagine, you know, leave that to John Lennon. You know, picture yourself on a boat on a river and stuff like that, right? When we're actually talking